Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Entertainment Dome.
Hello.
It's been a while, hasn't it?
It has been a very long time. My fault, really. I went on holiday for the last month or so.
Damn you enjoying yourself. How dare you go on holiday?
Yeah, we would have carried on, but I didn't have internet access at the time, so unfortunately, it has been a very long time. But we're back. Hopefully, we can just move forward and keep this a regular thing going.
we can put this all behind us.
Yeah, no more excuses on why this episode's taken so late. Let's just get on to what we want to talk about. And I say what James wants to talk about. I haven't known what's been going on for the last couple of months, so James is very much going to sort of run me through what's happened the last month or so, because apparently things have gone insane over the summer.
It's literally when you went away, it was pretty much quiet. There was barely anything, barely any news, barely any game news. And then just out of the blue, everything blew up on Twitter. Twitter has exploded. I don't know where to begin. It's we have the Zoe Quinn controversy, we have the Anita Sarkeesian controversy, we have the JonTron controversy. We have the Lara Croft controversy.
It's Controversy Weekly.
Yes. The bad thing is we talked about this a little bit earlier, where the last episode the files actually corrupted, which was a problem. Which means that the last episode was actually going to be Happy Fun Times, but this means that this episode is coming straight after the last controversy episode we had.
It's like that's all we ever talk about.
We will try and put in some happy thoughts, like Super Smash Bros. There's been some apparent leakages, which sounds very good.
I think maybe we should change our name from the Entertainment Dome to the Controversy Dome, because
it is all that's come. It's the summer drought. I blame it on, because have you noticed this? That there's barely anything released in the summer.
Well, that's because everyone goes outside.
True, but it's.
Well, I say everyone.
Mostly. Did you go outside when you were on holiday?
I did go outside, yeah. I made a point of getting out in the sun. I'm still white. I'm pasty white.
I tried to tan once. It was horrible. I literally did. I tried to tan, I sunburned, and then I also got bitten by mosquitoes. Call that bad luck.
Oh, that's terrible.
So, which one do you want to be brought up to speed first, Michael?
Well, you mentioned Zoe Quinn first. Let's start off with that. Although I think I did hear a bit about this. There's feel free to correct me, because again, I only sort of took a brief glance at it. But there's been rumblings that journalists from gaming sites like Kotaku and Polygon, I think, they've apparently been having sex with developers in order to sort of
get good reviews.
So the games can get good reviews. They've essentially been offering sex for good reviews.
Mm-hmm. And Twitter basically exploded. That was the main reason, but there was also a few other things. Apparently it might have been that she had used YouTube to remove some of the videos that were negative criticisms of her game.
Oh.
Which is another thing. But here's the thing. None of this we know completely now, because what basically happened was the shitstorm of she apparently cheated on her boyfriend, therefore I don't like using this word, but the social justice warriors saying, this is wrong, we must attack it.
Which part is wrong? Because last I checked, I think it sounds like all of it is wrong.
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
I don't think there's really an argument to be made here. Can anyone really say, well, to be fair to the people who were involved in this? No, not to be fair. There is no fair in this. Journalists were demanding sex to give the games good reviews. I'm aware that gaming journalism at least is slightly corrupt in some points.
Oh, it's very.
With developers trying to bribe critics with, posters and what have you in order to garner good reviews. But this is
The thing is, though, we don't know. This is the truth of the matter. We actually don't know which is true, which isn't true. And the sad thing is, it's all been hijacked.
So it's just descended into a whole big game of he said, she said.
Yeah, essentially. And it's I actually got attacked for this over when you was away, because I wrote on Twitter that because basically a lot of the people that came out and attacked her for this essentially were just de-evolving into misogynistic crap. And I basically said that, the misogyny here is ridiculous. And suddenly everyone was like, oh, so you're defending her. You're defending her views. I'm like, no, I'm just not defending your attitudes. But here's the thing that goes against what people are saying, that, oh, she did it to get good reviews. Even though I hate this site, Metacritic, this is Metacritic. Take one look, Michael, and see how many reviews she has in terms of critic reviews.
Okay, give me a quick sec. I have to copy link location, can't just open the link.
Oh, god damn it.
Oh, shit!
Yeah.
For those of you who obviously can't see this, according to Metacritic, this game here, Depression Quest,
yes,
has garnered an overall score of 1.2.
That's from, that's pretty much from the user score. But the thing I want to take note is there's only one critic review. One.
Oh.
And it's only 50%. So it's a 50-50 mixed. So people saying, oh, she did it to get good reviews. Well, I'm not seeing that at the moment, to be fair.
Yeah, although, well, I'm looking at the user reviews. 86 have given it a negative
review.
Like, there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The first 6 that I can see here
are bad reviews.
Yeah, it's 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1. And then one
Suddenly
person, and then there's a 10 at the very top.
Yeah.
There's like 13 positives, and this is like, this is one of the big problems with gaming journalism, which is ironic because I want to get into gaming journalism. But is this whole thing about like, oh, it's just opinions, and in many respects, yes, it is. This is a perfect example of it. Although, yes, you can say it's all a matter of opinion, but if you actually look at these numbers, if 86 people came up to you and every one of them told you, don't play this game, it's bad, and then another 13 came up to you and said, oh no, it's really good, who are you more inclined to believe? I'd be more inclined to believe with the 86.
Yeah.
Because 86 compared to 13 is a big difference.
Massively.
But this is just us, like, sort of say, like, I'm guessing, the thing is, though, it doesn't seem to me like any of these critics are Kotaku. Because if that were the case...
This is called... The one that actually wrote the critic review was a thing called Action Trip.
Yeah, and it gave it a 50, which is, like, down the middle.
I've actually played a bit of this Depression Quest. It's... The best way to describe it is it's not really a game. It's more of choose your own adventure, but basically about depression. Okay. I don't think it's a good game. Like, I would probably be one of those that says, as a game, I would give it a very low score. But as something that...
Is it meant to be something... Because I think I remember hearing about this a few months ago, back when it was still in development. Is it meant to be something that's sort of meant to, like, either teach people about depression or help people with depression?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I suppose, again, I haven't played it, so I don't know, but in order to sort of educate depression, that's a good way of going about it, make a game about it. But... I'm guessing from sound of what you're saying and what all the negative reviews are saying is that, yeah, great idea, but you're still making a game.
I think I wouldn't mind if it wasn't a game. I think it just needed its own... Like, it's on Steam. It's free, so already there's no problem. Like, it's no problem to be there. But I think it just need, like... Games like this, Dear Esther and all this lot need, like, their own little... place on Steam, rather than saying here's a game, but it's not really a game. It's educational.
I get what you mean, because a lot of people, I think the majority of people who buy video games on Steam, or people who buy video games in general, are probably going to be like, okay, I just want to shoot something, I want to go on an adventure, I want to fight a monster, blah, 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 and they see, here's a cool new game for you, oh, that looks really cool, play it, and it's like, at the end of it, they go, what the fuck was that all about? Well, it's about depression, but I don't care.
There was nothing for me to do here.
I didn't want to be educated on depression. If I wanted to be educated on depression, I would look up depression.
There was also a bad thing. This is not definitely something I won't blame on Zoe Quinn. This is something I blame on Steam. Steam released this at a very bad time and actually gave more ammunition to the people who were using stuff like this to go against Zoe Quinn. This was released on the day of Robin Williams passing away.
Oh.
Yeah, so suddenly they had more ammunition to use.
I don't think that's a case of the people who are running Steam being insensitive. I think
it was to raise awareness, I think.
It sounds to me like it was a case of like, okay, here's when this game is going to be released. It's going to be released on this specific date. Everyone was like, great, we'll do it. It got to the date. Have released the game. It's been released. There. Now to see what the... Hang on, what, Robin Williams passed away.
Oh no.
I think it's a case... I put it towards just really poor timing. I don't think anyone at Steam was aware. You can't predict death.
No, and it's no one's fault, but the problem is they then used that as ammunition against her. And that became even worse.
Well, I don't think you could really use that as a fair assumption because that wasn't...
No, I wouldn't blame her.
Zoe Quinn wasn't sitting in her giant evil swivel chair, cackling to herself, going, I'll release the game on the same day Robin Williams dies.
Come, Mrs. Bigglesworth.
But as tragic as an event it was, I don't think it's fair to use that as ammunition, as you say, as to bashing this game. Bash it. Apparently the game sounds bad, so you don't need anything else.
No, as I said, it's not really a game. It's even less than something like Dear Esther. With Dear Esther, you just press W the entire time to walk. But although
gripping gameplay.
Oh god, I'd actually say this is better than Dear Esther because while Dear Esther was more a game, at least Depression Quest had a point. Dear Esther had no point, but that's just I don't like that game.
Well, you could argue it had the point of making money, unless it was free. Was it free?
No, it made money.
Okay.
At least this one was free. At least it was honest. Yeah, the truth of the matter is, what I think about Zoe Quinn is, if she did remove videos using via YouTube, that is a problem. And she should be condemned for that. That's not something she should get away with. But the thing is, we may never know now because of how it's been hijacked. Yeah.
To be fair, it sounds like something that probably would have tried to be hushed up anyway, regardless, because it's it's developers having sex with journalists in order to get their games good reviews. And if you have to have sex with a journalist in order for them to give your game a good review, you clearly lack confidence in your game. You need to reevaluate some things if you've had to resort to that. It's the same thing. I'd say the same with bribery. If you're bribing critics with, I don't know, autographed posters or special limited edition figurines or what have you, if you feel the need to bribe them, whatever it is, you have no confidence in what you've created. It means you think to yourself, yeah, what I've made is a piece of shit, so I need to resort to trying to bribe the critics. It's just pathetic is what it is. And it really saddens me when I
see it, yeah.
When I found out that some developers do that, when I found that out, I was like, oh wow. And it upset me even more that some journalists are okay with this. They're like, oh yeah, I'll take this. I'll give your game a good review as long as I get all this stuff. It's like, wow. It's a case on both. It's a fault on both sides. It's the fault on developers attempting to bribe the critics in the first place, and it's the fault on the critics actually accepting the bribe.
I also say though, I don't know if it's true in her case, because if it is true that she did it to get good reviews, where are those good reviews? Because I'm seeing no evidence of that on this Metacritic, and Metacritic takes all of, as far as I'm aware, takes all reviews straight away. There is none of that on here. So
maybe, in the case, again, I know we're speculating, so for all I know, maybe she didn't sleep with somebody at Kotaku.
Well, maybe she did, but it was not to get good reviews. She just wanted to sleep with someone. I don't see that as a problem.
True, if she wanted to sleep with somebody who happened to be a games journalist, it's entirely possible that there was absolutely no intention behind it. But the problem is though, is the fact that
we don't know.
Yeah, and even if they came out and said that wasn't the intention, there are still going to be people who are like, yeah, but they're probably lying, because if they did, who would admit to that? It's one of those things. It's almost like, it's like if Zoe Quinn did want to sleep with a games journalist, surely she had to think to herself, hang on, if it gets found out that I slept with a games journalist, aren't people going to assume that I did it for ulterior motives?
That's a point. But then again, I don't know, maybe it's... Like, I want to work as an actor, and I've seen a lot in the acting world where everyone sleeps with everyone for different reasons, so I don't know.
Yeah, and it's also the case in, like, you know, a lot of big name actors nowadays took really shitty roles when in their younger days just to get, and even now sometimes they take really shitty roles just because it's got a big paycheck at the end of it.
Yeah. Like, good example, Dungeons and Dragons with Jeremy Irons.
Yeah.
Jeremy Irons was asked in an interview, why did you do the movie? He said, you kidding? I just bought a castle. I needed some way to pay it off.
Yeah. Though I think it's a slight difference because, you know, actors need to earn money as well, like the rest of us. It's a job for them. So sometimes they might not have a choice but to take a shitty role. In the case of what we're talking about with games journalists and game designers doing this, it's not a case of... I know they need to make money as well, but if they wanted to make money, they'd make their game better.
True, but then again also, she made it free. So...
That's a good point.
This is where it doesn't make sense when people keep saying that she did it for good reviews. Because there's none of it on the Metascore or Metacritic. There is only one review, and that's like a 50, which is not a positive. That's like a mid-ground.
A 50 is essentially just shrugging your shoulders and going,
okay. Check, please.
You could play it, I guess.
Yeah, you can play it if you're bored. And she made it free. So, I suppose you could argue, it's to get people looking at it, but by the sounds of it, she's already done that. That's already happened. But, like, I've seen people who, like, try and bash her. They then try and say, the game was shit. So I was like, wait, so you played it anyway? so you've already given her what she set out to do as a games developer, make you play a game. You, sir, are an idiot.
You are now slightly more aware of depression. Her goal has been succeeded.
The rampant idiocy was hilarious. Like, it was so
To be
bad.
fair, you need to... In some cases, you can't bash something without having to actually experience it for yourself.
Oh, that's true. Like, I've read the entire Twilight series because people keep saying, you can't talk about it unless you've read it. I read it. My eyes were bleeding by book 3. Fuck that series.
Getting off topic.
Yeah. Go on.
I don't suppose there's really much more we can really say about Zoe Quinn and what's been going on there, except for the fact that when I first read it, the first two, I don't know if it's like the only two or just the first two of journalists have been reported of sleeping with developers, but like the ones that popped out to me were Kotaku, which I do frequent, but I don't really read. I don't properly read it. I just occasionally see it just to see if there's any new like updates or releases on anything. Because I've
already said things about Kotaku. Kotaku is one of those that
I am
you
aware.
Take with a pinch of salt.
I am aware of Kotaku's reputation. I'm familiar with a lot of people who absolutely despise them. So it didn't surprise me that they were involved in this scandal. The other one was Polygon. I don't follow Polygon at all. The only thing I know about Polygon is that one of their journalists wrote an article about why he thought that Mario Kart was the worst-selling franchise ever, despite the fact that Mario Kart 8 broke sales figures.
I was about to say, that's him talking out of his arse.
He then wrote up a follow-up article where Mario Kart 8 like broke sales figures. He's like reported about how much Mario Kart 8 sold, and underneath it, I still think that Mario Kart is one of the worst-selling franchises ever. Dude, you've just admitted it's made millions.
What?
You are talking shit. I am sorry.
Wow, that's a whole new level of bad journalism right there.
I can't believe someone actually greenlighted that. What do you want to write about? I want to write a feature why Mario Kart is the worst-selling franchise ever. Is it, though?
You're a terrible games journalist. Have you thought about writing for the Daily Mail?
I think that's the biggest problem with journalism, is that, in games journalism anyway, is that obviously there is bias. There's always going to be a little bit of bias, which I think is fine. A little bit of bias is fine. But incredible bias... That's not needed, especially because it wasn't written as an opinion piece. It wasn't like, an opinion piece on why this person did not like Mario Kart. That would be fine. I disagree with it, but
Everyone's allowed their own opinion.
There's nothing wrong with writing a piece on saying why you personally do not like Mario Kart. But to say Mario Kart is terrible as a fact, that is bias that I can't get behind.
It's also the fact that he got proven wrong.
Exactly.
Badly.
It's just like, it was ridiculous.
Wow, I'm actually still kind of shocked over that. That is incredibly bad. And then to basically admit he was wrong and then still go, I still think it's not a good selling franchise.
It wasn't like he didn't admit he was wrong. It was just like a report that Mario Kart 8 broke sales figures.
But the evidence proves he's wrong anyway.
Yeah, exactly. It proves him wrong, but he doesn't admit to it. He says like Mario Kart's the worst selling franchise ever, but Mario Kart 8 just like broke sales figures and sold like over 6 billion. I could be wrong, but it's something like that, 6.6 million or something. It's like but it made all this money and just like sold many copies. That is true.
It already sold more than Lara Croft, the rebooted Tomb Raider.
Yeah, but to be fair, like I think Mario Kart's one of those games where like everybody can play it. With Tomb Raider, it's like, yeah, a lot of people would play it, but
it's for families as well. Like it's good couch co-op as well.
I'm assuming you brought up Tomb Raider in order to move on to our next controversy of this episode.
I actually didn't. I just remembered that Lara Croft, as of March this year, the reboot Tomb Raider made 6.4 million.
Oh,
I remember that because I did a demo reel to send to radio places, and that was actually one of them.
Oh, cool.
One of the facts I used. A little bit of trivia for you folks. But yeah, basically, I think we are going to move on from the Zoe Quinn thing here, because I think there's not much else we can talk about, considering there's barely anything yet. That we don't know the complete truth. And the sad thing is, we may never know now, because of just how people have just literally flared this up, and we will never know now. That's the depressing thing. We don't know if she did things that were morally wrong and needed to be sorted out, or if she didn't. And this is all complete misunderstanding or just bias against her.
Well, the thing is, though, whether it did or didn't happen, people are still going to use that. Zoe Quinn and whoever else was named involved with this, they've just given themselves a massive target on their heads.
I think Phil Fish came in to defend her as well.
Oh, God, Phil Fish.
Yeah, I don't think it ended very well. From what I remember, all I just heard was someone say, yeah, Phil Fish is trying to defend her. I went, oh, no. Oh, God, no. That might have been literally the nail in the coffin for it.
Let's not even carry on with this anymore. Let's just move on.
We'll move on. So, from the next three, we have Lara Croft, we have John Tron, and we have Anita Sarkeesian. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be talking about that lovely person in a moment. Which one do you want to pick, Michael?
Well, we've mentioned Tomb Raider earlier, so let's move on to that. You told me that apparently Microsoft are paying, is it Square Enix or...
Square Enix and Crystal Dynamics.
Yeah, who both are responsible. It's Square Enix who published Tomb Raider now, aren't they? They just publish it.
They publish it and Crystal Dynamics develop it.
Yeah. Microsoft is apparently paying them to make the next Tomb Raider, Rise of the Tomb Raider, which was announced at E3 earlier this year. Mm-hmm. They're paying them in order to make it Xbox One exclusive. Bullshit!
Yep. Here's the thing that really annoys me, though. They said, oh yeah, this is an exclusive, this is only coming out on Microsoft. Then people backlashed the living hell out of it, and they said, but it's a timed exclusive.
Oh,
It literally, they backpedaled like crazy. Like, oh no, it's only a timed exclusive. It's like, you cowards.
Well, it's not even that. Is that then official then? It is still coming to PS4 then?
PS4, PC, they said it probably will be. They'll be able to make it. Whether they will make it, we don't know.
Well, that's just like fucking... Again,
bullshit.
It's bullshit, because like... It's a case of just... It's not a case of... I wouldn't mind so much if it was the fact that Tomb Raider was an Xbox exclusive franchise in the first place. But the fact that then Microsoft then gave extra money... It sounds like as if Microsoft want to deny PlayStation users or PC users.
Funny you should mention that, because Phil Spencer, who, for those who don't know, is the head of the Xbox division of Microsoft...
Is that the man who wears two watches?
Yes, I think so.
because
already he's a douche.
He apparently needs 2 watches to remind him what time to eat breakfast.
That just tells you what type of man he is. He said that the reason why they wanted Tomb Raider was to basically go up against Uncharted 4. So rather than make their own IP, they decided to just steal someone else's.
Yeah, he's like, should we come up with our own idea? Nope. Although, to be fair, this is probably me being incredibly presumptuous. But I reckon even if Microsoft get Tomb Raider to be exclusive on their console, I reckon Uncharted 4 will still beat it.
Oh, it will. Especially now, considering how much consumer goodwill they have lost over this.
Yeah, that's the main reason why I got pissy just now about Tomb Raider becoming Xbox exclusive, because I don't like the Xbox One. I have no interest in it as a games console, or even as this media thing that Microsoft tried to sell it as.
Oh my god, that was terrible.
That tagline still annoys me now. Well, not so much annoys me, it just sort of like makes me sort of raise an eyebrow, because the reason they call it the Xbox One is because it's the one system you will ever need. But what if I need to play Nintendo games?
What if I need to play PC games?
If it was the one system I'd ever need, then I could play Nintendo games on it. I could play PlayStation games on it.
If any tagline it would be PC mostly, or Nintendo, because both of them have exclusives that you can find nowhere else.
Yeah, and before anyone like sort of jumps on me, it's sort of like, oh, but you're not complaining about exclusives on Nintendo consoles. I'm like, true, but that's because I expect something like Mario or Mario Kart or Zelda to be exclusive to Nintendo.
Here's the difference, and this has been brought up. The difference between Nintendo stuff and even Bayonetta 2 and Lara Croft Tomb Raider is Nintendo stuff is made by Nintendo. It is not made by a third-party development company. It is made by Nintendo. So naturally, it's going to be on the Wii U. There is no problem with that. The problem is Tomb Raider is not being made by Sony, by Microsoft, or by Nintendo. It should be available on all other platforms, and it's not.
I suppose somebody could also make the argument, because you mentioned Bayonetta 2. I remember when Bayonetta 2 got first announced to be Wii U exclusive, fans of the first Bayonetta were up in arms, because obviously they didn't have Wiis, they had PS3s and 360s. So they were like, now I've got to buy a Nintendo console to play Bayonetta 2. And some people will be like, you're having a go at Microsoft trying to make Tomb Raider exclusive, but Nintendo did the same thing with Bayonetta 2, so why aren't you angry at them? Here's the difference, though. Tomb Raider, both as a franchise and as a reboot, was guaranteed a sequel. Bayonetta was left in limbo.
It wasn't going to happen. It was not going to be made, and Nintendo just said, we'll give you the help to make it, we just want you to release it on our console only.
Yeah,
that's fair.
Sega didn't give a shit. They were like, well, Bayonetta 1 didn't do all that well, so we're just going to leave it. It's not with Tomb Raider. Rise of the Tomb Raider would have happened with or without Microsoft. So having there's no justification in making it Xbox exclusive, except to deny the PlayStation and PC players.
Mm-hmm. I think the other thing that annoys me as well is that this was not revealed at E3. Like, they just said, Rise of the Tomb Raider is coming out. Like, yes, this is going to be fantastic. And then it took several months and they go, oh, by the way, it's Xbox One only.
Yeah,
it's really?
That's almost like a bit sneaky if you think about it.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm being a bit presumptuous there. But if what you've said is true and that they have completely backpedaled on this, like Microsoft has done with everything else they've ever done last couple of years.
It's Microsoft, what do you expect?
They backpedaled on the Xbox One stuff, they've backpedaled on this. Thing is, though, some people... I almost feel sorry for Microsoft in some respects, because they were like... Remember when the Xbox One had the DRM thing, and everyone was like, this DRM thing is completely stupid, you're idiots for even introducing this idea. And then Microsoft went, okay, you know what? We're going to take the DRM thing out. Were people like, thank you, Microsoft, we really appreciate that? No, they went, oh, you spineless cowards! How dare you give in to our demands! It's like they can't...
It's good they did. That was a good thing they did.
It's like they can't win with us. We're making Tomb Raider Xbox One exclusive. You can't make Tomb Raider Xbox One exclusive. Okay, we won't make it Xbox One exclusive. Oh, don't pussy out to us, Microsoft!
I think the difference was, though, with that, they didn't deserve the backlash they got, because it was like, we made a mistake, we need to rectify it, let's do it. That's good, that's smart thinking, and that's good on Microsoft. But with what they did to Tomb Raider, they literally were just backpedaling like, oh shit, people are getting angry. And it was like a few days after. And it's also the fact is, it was it looked like it was not going to be backpedaled because, like, Crystal Dynamics said, yes, this is only going to be released on Xbox One. For those who are on PlayStation 4 and PC, you can still play Tomb of Osiris.
Yeah, that's sort of a bit like, I mean, Tomb of Osiris might be a decent game. We don't know. So
it probably will be because it's the sequel to Guardian of Light, which was a good game.
But it almost sounds a bit patronizing, I think is the word. It's almost like, why can't we play this super awesome new game? Well, you can't play this super awesome new game, but here's something else you can play that isn't the super awesome new game.
You can go in the sandbox.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. Can I go on the swings? No, you can go in the sandbox. And it's not like that direct. It's a case of like, I want to go in the swings. Well, you can't go on the swings, Timmy, but you can go in the sandbox. But I don't want to go in the sandbox. There's like glass in there.
Yeah. And it's not as good. No, they ain't got glass. It's not as good as the swings. It's old. It's battered, and most of the sand is more like gravel now.
The kid who beats me up at school's in there. Yeah, but you've got to go in the sand pit anyway because it's not Xbox exclusive. What? That'd be confusing. Yeah. Microsoft announces we're making sand pits Xbox One exclusive. How?
It's their version of The Sims. Although their version of Sims will probably do well than The Sims 4 that's about to come out.
I have heard this morning that Sims 4 is apparently terrible, but
my god!
Obviously, all the critics are giving it good reviews.
No, apparently they're not.
Aren't they?
The critics were not given copies.
I could have sworn I read somewhere that some journalists would giving it good reviews despite the game being terrible.
No, critics have this game. Sims 4 was not shown to critics before it was released.
Oh,
in the US. It's not released in the UK yet. It's coming out tomorrow, I think, in the UK over here. But in the US, they were not given review copies at all. They literally just got it on the day it was released. And from what I've heard, it was terrible. And also, there was a list I had where they removed about 89 pieces of stuff that used to be in the games, and they basically stripped it out. So what I'm trying to say is, fans of The Sims,
don't buy it.
No, stay far away.
I
don't see the appeal of The Sims anyway, because I bought The Sims 3. I was like, right, I'll try and see if I can get into it. And then it was like, there's loads of DLC available, and they're about 20 quid each. I was like, nope.
You want a good Sims game? Can I recommend Tomodachi Life on the 3DS?
I have heard about that.
Because it doesn't require the amount of dedication as something like The Sims does. You can play it for maybe 10 minutes and then put it away again. And it's also batshit insane, and I love it.
Yeah, I've heard about that. Nintendo's also been very good about Tomodachi Life, and when they had that little problem a while ago when people brought up the fact of, hey, why aren't there homosexual relationships and all that in this? And they were like, okay, sorry, we didn't have that, we will do it next time. Nice one, Nintendo. At least you were honest.
True, but they did also. It was sort of done in the way why can't we have gay relationships in Tomodachi Life? Well, we could put gay relationships in the next game, but that would require Tomodachi Life selling really well. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink.
Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. No, I mean.
It wasn't a case of Nintendo going, yeah, you're right. We're sorry. We should take that into consideration. They essentially said, well, we can't do that unless you give us money for Tomodachi Life now. Buy the game, bitch.
True. At least they were more forthcoming with it rather than most companies, which we've taken pot shots today. We've taken pot shots at Crystal Dynamics, Square, and Xbox. We've taken pot shots at people who moaned at Zoe I need said Zoe Sarkeesian. I'm getting them too mixed up.
Some sort of horrible amalgamation of the two.
This is how bad this episode's going. We're getting so many different things that are going wrong.
Suddenly all the controversies are just going to blend in together to make some sort of super terrible controversy.
One giant monstrosity that walks around that looks like the singer from South Park that they keep taking a mick out of.
I don't know who that is. I don't watch South Park.
I'll look over later. I'll be like, that's the character. And basically sounds like Nickelback. See, that one I can remember.
Well, I think we've said all needs to be said in the Tomb Raider situation.
I'd just like to end it with just basically screw Square and Crystal Dynamics because they have not handled this very well and have just been very, very...
I'd say screw Microsoft for making the offer and screw Crystal Dynamics and Square Enix for taking it.
Yeah. And I really think that game's not going to sell very well, even if it does come on PlayStation 4 and PC, because of how much consumer goodwill they basically screwed over.
Well, if it comes up on PS4, I'll probably get it once I get a PS4. Obviously, I still have very little reason to actually play that. And if it does become Xbox One exclusive, then I'm probably never going to play it because the Xbox One just does not appeal to me. There is nothing on that game that I desperately want.
Moreover, you should not be strong-armed to buy a console just to play the game you want. Like, I didn't do it when Dead or Alive went over to Xbox many years ago. Back when I was a teenager.
It's always a shame, though, when a game comes out that you really want to play, but it's like the one game for this console that you're probably going to... And it's like, you'll get... If you get the console and this game, and then you'll get no other games for it. It's like, I have just spent, like, over £100 on something that I'm probably... might only play once in my whole life.
I remember back in the day when Microsoft... Like, people kept saying, you should play Halo. I played Halo once in... Back when Debenhams actually used to have, like, little game stores.
Oh, yeah.
And I played a bit of Halo. I hated it. It was terrible. I couldn't get into it. Maybe it's because it was on a set level, and maybe that level was terrible. And maybe the rest of the game was good. I don't know. But from what I played of it, I really hated it.
I've got no real opinions on Halo. It's fine enough.
It's nothing special.
Well, it's nothing special. It's just one of those things where, like, it seems fun, but I have no desire to... The only Halo-related thing that I'm into is Red vs. Blue.
Mm-hmm.
Well, have you never heard of that?
No, I haven't. What's Red vs. Blue?
Oh, well, I'll speak afterwards because we'll just be going off topic for a very long time.
Right.
I'll tell you afterwards. Move on to the next topic, which is like... I'm going to need you to sort of fill me in on this because I have no clue what's going on here.
Which one are we doing? JonTron or... JonTron.
Yeah, JonTron, because I've got no clue what's going on there.
Lovely old JonTron. That's not me being sarcastic. I genuinely like JonTron.
That's the thing. That's why I'm so confused, because JonTron seems like a really pleasant guy, and from what I've heard, he's a very lovely person in real life. So I like
JonTron, and I think the only problem he has is sometimes he doesn't fully get his thing fully out. Like, he doesn't sell it very well. Like, he doesn't say things completely, and that sometimes causes a little bit of problems. Like, this is connected to Anita Sarkeesian, like, what she's been bringing up, and he said, like, he basically said to Tim Schafer, who shared a video of Anita Sarkeesian, he said, men get objectified too in video games. And basically, all of Tim Schafer's fans went on JonTron like a dog on a rabbit. It literally went ridiculous. And basically it said, you're being sexist, you don't care about women. It's like... shit.
It's a classic case of people not understanding a comment on the internet. Because the very sad thing about the internet is that if you could say something and people will understand it, but when you just type it, there's no inflection, there's no voice. So it's
also Twitter, where you can only write 140 characters.
Yeah,
you can't go in depth unless you have twit longer.
See, because a sentence can completely change depending on how you say it.
Yeah,
he's like, I'm going up to the shops. Okay, see you. Or someone's like, I'm going up to the shops. See, it's completely different.
Yes, Michael. Who does sound like that?
No one, admittedly. Admittedly, it's a terrible example, but it's a case
sounds like a serial killer going to Tesco's.
I'm assuming it's like, because what I'm guessing, again, this is an assumption, I don't fully know, but when JonTron said men get objectified in video games too, it doesn't sound like he's saying it's a case of like, it's not that argument of like, women should stop being objectified in video games. Yeah, well, men get objectified too, so it's all fine then. It's not in that. It doesn't sound like he meant it in that respect.
because
it sounds more like a statement than anything. It's just like saying men get objectified in video games too.
Yeah,
Someone's going, that is true.
He elaborated on this on the Co-optional podcast, which I highly recommend everyone watch straight after this. Like, he said that he even outright states women get it as bad as get it bad. He said, I'm not saying women don't get objectified, but men do as well. Like, and also men get represented as like these 7-foot tall meat mountains. He's like, I don't want that to represent me. I even brought this up with a friend of mine who's also a woman, and she says men do get objectified. Women get it more so.
Yeah, that's
but
the thing,
men
though.
do.
When we hear objectification, we think of the low cut tops, the lack of trousers, the camera somehow being sort of magnetically pulled towards the boobs. But it's like, if you look at any sort of male video game protagonist, they're always super attractive. Nathan Drake, the guy from Assassin's Creed, maybe. I don't know. I haven't seen the Under the Hood. we could probably assume Master Chief's super hot.
You make him sound like a car. Let's see under the hood.
And they're always like super muscular, the guys from Gears of War, Duke Nukem. When was the last video game you played where like the protagonist was some sort of weedy skinny bloke who worked in
skinny
IT?
Or overweight or anything of that? Or actually, no, there's been more cases of people who are overweight in video games, but they're always played as comedy relief. They're never played as actually heroic.
Yeah, it's like, is this character fat? Yes, then he's stupid. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
He's stupid, or he's either stupid or incredibly nerdy.
Yeah, I've been playing a game on the PS Vita recently called Danganronpa, and one of the characters in that, it's Japan, so it's like obviously quite. There's some stereotypes there, and one of the characters is this fat fanfic writer who's a massive nerd.
Oh God. I want to play that game. Is it any good?
Danganronpa. Yeah. Despite that comment, yes, it's actually really good.
It goes by stereotypes, but it's a good game, guys.
Well, not complete stereotypes, just like a couple. But
the thing is, it's not only Japan that's guilty of that. Everywhere is guilty of this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there is nothing that's guilty of saying, this game goes with stereotypes. But a lot of things go by stereotypes. So do other video games in the West, so do TV, films. Like, let's be brutally honest now, and go by objectification. Look at movies, and look at the female protagonists for the last, say, several years. Look at all the female protagonists, and 9 times out of 10, they are skinny, short, certain hairstyles, certain facial features, everything. It's a similar style going forward all the time. It's not a good thing.
In a lot of cases, it's a classic copy and paste.
Yes.
Which was a massive problem back when women were first becoming like main characters in action movies and such. It wasn't a case of and it's still a problem today. A lot of people's definition of a strong female character is angry, can use a gun, can fight, has big boobs, skin tight, leather uniform.
Which is usually a thing people say is the weak thing when they're aggressive all the time and they don't think. That's usually seen as a weakness.
It's a classic, like, we need to make these women strong, so let's just make them angry all the time. No! Show us some other emotion! We don't want strong female characters. We want interesting female characters.
Well-written characters.
I think I saw a good post about this like a while ago. It was that basically said, we don't write strong female characters, write interesting female characters, write female characters who want revenge, write ones that can fight, write ones that want to get married, write ones that want to have children. We no longer... People think that in order to sort of equal the gender balance out, women can no longer have, like, they don't need to get married, they don't need to have kids. True, they don't need to. Doesn't mean these women don't exist anymore.
Yeah. It's also the thing that there's the reoccurring trend of, to make a woman stronger, they gave her a sword. Like Snow White and the Huntsman and Alice in Wonderland.
That Snow White movie looked so stupid.
Oh, fucking hell, it was bad.
I haven't watched it, but I just took one look at it and went, shit.
There was only 2 good things about it. Chris Hemsworth, because he actually had some good dialogue, and...
Plus, how can you say no to that, you know? Not saying anything, but Chris Hemsworth...
But Chris Hemsworth's a good
he's
actor.
mighty
as well.
Thor, you know.
Yeah, he's a good actor. And also, funny enough, it wasn't Charlize Theron who stole the show. It was actually the one who plays her brother, who doesn't appear in any trailers. That's a hilarious thing. The better villain doesn't appear in any of the trailers.
I remember somebody made the complaint that one of the problems with Snow White and the Huntsman was the fact that it was trying to convince us that Kristen Stewart is more attractive than Charlize Theron.
And they failed miserably. They utterly failed. I'm sorry, Charlize Theron is... She's everything. More talented, better looking, just everything.
Apparently her acting wasn't so great in that movie, though.
No, it was. As I said, the more villainous stuff was taken over by her brother. Like, all the villainous stuff you saw in the trailer, which made her look quite creepy, all of that was in the trailer.
But doesn't the brother just default to just being creepy?
Oh yeah, but
thing?
It's
like he
well
just
done
over
creepy.
Kristen Stewart.
Like, it's creepy, and it's like in stereotypical creepy villain number one, but it's well done, I suppose.
I know we're going off topic slightly with this, but I just want to add like one other thing. Apparently, like in the film, there's like the reason Chris Hemsworth's character falls in love with Kristen Stewart's character is because she reminds him of his former wife/girlfriend. Can I point out that I absolutely hate that trope in storytelling?
It needs to die.
Falling in love with somebody because they remind you of their former lover. You're not falling in love with them as a person. You're falling in love with them because they remind you of your... I don't need to explain it.
Yeah,
it should be obvious that this is a terrible idea.
Oh, and also they did the other thing like the Twilight movies where it's a love triangle.
Love triangles also need to die.
To die, yeah. Twilight ruined everything.
Did it ruin pizzas? It ruined pizzas as well.
Oh no, the Michael Bay Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie did that. I laughed when I heard that, obviously I'm not New Yorker, so I don't know this, but they said that in the movie Pizza Hut appears, and it's like, there's no Pizza Huts in New York. In that part of New York.
Seems a very little thing to sort of like...
Yeah.
hate to...
That's nitpicking on a massive
How was that
level.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie? It was terrible. Why? Because they had Pizza Hut in it, and it's set in New York. So, there are no Pizza Huts in New York! Well, aside from that, it was alright.
Not for the fact that also the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are fucking terrifying. They did! It was like sitting there going, what abomination are these?
I read apparently that part of the reason why that movie's not very good is that it's trying to appeal to too many crowds.
Yeah.
Like, they're trying to appeal to the crowd who grew up with the old cartoons, but they're also trying to bring in the new people, and as a result, it just makes it become some sort of horrible mess.
It's also the fact that it's also been pretty much done by Michael Bay, who... Yeah.
Yeah, don't even need to mention that. Should we get back...
It speaks for itself. But yes, let's go back to John Tron.
Yeah, because like we sort of went off a bit on there. But yeah, so John Tron was being attacked because he's apparently been accused of being sexist. Is that basically the gist of it?
Pretty much. That's the problem. It's like... And I listened to his views on the Co-optional podcast and everything. I was sitting there, I was going, no, he's got some good points. I think some of them aren't as well developed, but he has some very good points. And he doesn't deserve the level of criticism that people give him saying, and especially them saying, oh, he's been sexist. I'm like, no, he just said straight away that that women get it bad as well. And TB elaborated on saying that there's a diversity problem in video games, which is true.
Yeah, that is true.
That's a good point. There is a diversity problem in video games.
Do you know what I think the problem is, actually? Sorry to interrupt.
But no, go for it.
It's sort of something I sort of came to realise over the last few months, because I'm guessing because ever since I came to uni, I don't know if it's like it just started when I started going to uni, or if I just became more aware of it, but this whole feminist argument, I became a lot more aware of it, and I found myself wondering, well, which side am I on? Because in many respects I agree with the feminists, but then I see what some of them say, and I'm sort of like, well, no, I don't agree with that. And these other non-feminists, I agree with some of their points. And I'm wondering, where do I stand on this? And then I sort of realised about a month ago, maybe, I thought, I don't stand for equality for women. I stand for equality.
You're a humanist, is what you're saying, more than anything else.
I think that's the problem here. People are so obsessed with trying to make women more equal to men that they're forgetting that isn't equality is what we're striving for, and people seem to be... I'm probably explaining this horribly wrong. I'm not saying women shouldn't be striving for equality.
You're saying that it needs to be more equal, and it's...
yeah, because that's the problem. Because then, as a result, it's the way it's going. It might just end up tipping in the. We'll end up just getting the reverse when suddenly. And
I think it's also a fact. The problem is we're not able to talk about it because on both sides, this is not just like, this is not me saying, oh, men get it hard. No. It's there are extremists on both sides. Actually, I'm going to use the quote that Total Biscuit uses, and it's a perfect quote. That there are extremists on both sides, they are dug in their trenches, they have all barbed wire up, and they are mortaring everyone in the middle. And that's basically it. There are these sides that basically will not listen and will just champion their side. And it's like, it leaves no room for actual debating and talking things through.
That is definitely, I would agree with that, because that's the problem with almost anything, because you get the people trying to make an actual debate, trying to actually talk with people, but we can't hear them over the sound of these idiots who
on
are
both
just
sides basically shouting their flaws. Yeah.
And it's not even proper. It's not even shouting actual things. It just devolves into swear words and insults to each other's mothers.
Or just insults saying, "Oh, you're a sexist pig." It's like, no, they're not saying that. There's another thing as well that was brought up. Dodger said this, is that as soon as you start shouting at someone, they immediately put barriers up and they will not listen to your views because you're shouting at them. You're not talking to them rationally. You're just aggressively attacking them.
Well, when somebody starts shouting, the person on the other side just sort of goes, there is literally no point in continuing this discussion.
No. And this works both ways. It's like both sides we need a middle ground and we need to talk these things through.
People sort of need to stop jumping, like when they see something on the internet they disagree, if they immediately go to the keyboards, Twitter up, instead of just like reading it and going, wait, what did he say? And they sort of just look at it and sort of think about it for a while and sort of think, well,
That's the problem with Twitter. It's very spur of the moment things, and people don't think it through. They just see it and go, attack! It's like, oh god.
I do feel really sorry for JonTron being caught up in the middle of all this. Because nobody wants that. You just put up a thing on... No one... When you put something up on Twitter or Facebook or whatever, you don't think, oh, I better type it carefully or I might get attacked for this. You'll think, oh, I'm just going to put something up on Twitter. Like, you could put up anything and it's like, I had a very nice pie today. And not fearing for your life. You just type that up, I like pies. You walk away, you come back, and so your email's flooded with people saying, how dare you be prejudiced against the pies? I'm like, I just said I liked pies. What about other pastries? You didn't give them any looks.
You're attacking all the other pastries, how dare you?
I like other pastries too. Oh, what, pies are now no longer important to you? Is that it?
I think
again, terrible example, but my point still stands.
Yeah. I think the thing that got me the most is that some people then tried to attack him by saying, oh, no wonder Game Grumps gave you up. I was like, what the fuck has this got to do with anything?
Especially since, last I checked, he left Game Grumps.
Yeah.
He didn't get kicked out, he left.
And as far as I can tell, there's been, I don't know, but as far as I can see, there's been nothing going up between the two, so what the hell?
I apparently there was some, when JonTron was still with Game Grumps, there was apparently some behind the scene things going on between him and Egoraptor, which eventually led to John's departure, but I'm pretty sure there's been no attacks between the two since then.
No, as far as I can tell.
Which is the best way to go about it, because when you attack somebody over the internet, you're essentially just saying, I'm petty and just want to...
Mm-hmm.
I've got this fan base, I am now going to turn these fans over there and make them hurt this guy because I'm telling them to.
Which is essentially what happened with Tim Schafer. I was actually kind of disgusted.
Yeah, because Tim Schafer has got a lot of fans. For good reason. Tim Schafer's
he's a very good developer.
He's a good developer. He seems like a very decent human being.
Yeah,
I'm assuming that he just put something up on Twitter. JonTron left a reply. Tim Schafer probably looked at them and went, let's see, JonTron replied to my Twitter. And then he sort of looked back again and was like, wait, what the hell's going on? Why is this descending into anarchy?
Anarchy and chaos.
Oh god, stop it! People are dying!
And this will actually go straight in our debate into Anita Sarkeesian, because this was actually the video that she brought up. And Tim Schafer said was like basically saying, this is a video that every developer should look at. And JonTron left that comment, and then people basically attacked him for it.
Okay, you're going to need to fill me on the Anita Sarkeesian video as well, because I'm assuming Anita Sarkeesian is a developer?
No, she is... How best to describe it? She is in charge of a series called Feminist Frequency. These usually find tropes. She's a feminist, which is good, and she goes against the tropes that are in video games that are classed as anti-feminist and just degrading to women. And she does bring up good points. And the best way I describe Anita Sarkeesian is that she represents as a whole a good thing. More get rid of discrimination against women, more diversity and all this lot. Good things. The things I don't agree with Anita Sarkeesian, and I think this is what JonTron was also bringing up, is that she goes for the easy targets, and she never brings up anything good in video games. Like, she talked about Bayonetta. And
I think somebody showed me one of her videos. I didn't properly watch it because I wasn't interested at all, because he was really just showing me it just to say, like, check this woman out, isn't she, like, talking shit? And I'm like, I don't know, because she might be bringing up decent points, but I don't want to disagree with you in case you just have a massive go at me.
Yeah, and that's the problem.
But yeah, no, I'm just looking. I think this is the same. So yeah, I know. All I know is that she's a feminist, and a lot of people don't like her.
Yeah, and I can see both sides.
Apparently, from what I've heard, is that she also confessed that she doesn't actually play video games at all.
And that's the problem. This is like when she brought up the things of Bayonetta.
I'm here to talk about the problems in video games, about how they represent women. Oh, what games have you played personally? Well, I don't play video games. Then why are you talking about them?
Yeah, that's the problem. It's again, as I said, she represents a good thing, and
there's nothing wrong with that,
obviously. And some of the things she does bring up are good points. I will agree with that. But the problem is that her methods, I don't agree with. I don't agree with her methods. And looking at her video for Bayonetta, one of the first things she said was, here's some of the good things about Bayonetta. She's a single mother. And that's it. And I went, two things. One, that's not it. And two, she's not a single mother. That's actually a past her who came through time. So actually, that's not true.
Actually, Anita, that wasn't the original Bayonetta, but a past version of her that travelled through time. If you played the game, you'd actually know that.
She also said that, she fights against demons. I'm like, no, they explicitly state they're angels. Right off the bat.
It's somebody who's looked at a trailer for Bayonetta on mute and sort of said, clearly Bayonetta's a sexist character. I've not played Bayonetta. I want to play Bayonetta. Bayonetta and Bayonetta 2 will be out on the Wii U in a few months. I'm looking forward to that. And I will confess, Bayonetta is incredibly sexualized. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, yeah, she is. But here's the thing. Like, she's overly sexualized, but you could make an argument. This isn't my views, but you could make the argument she's also a reverse power fantasy for women.
I suppose.
The thing is, the person who got me to play Bayonetta was my ex-girlfriend at the time. I didn't know anything about Bayonetta. She was like, give this a try, you'll love it. I was like, oh, okay.
I suppose in some respects you could say, again, not play Bayonetta, so I don't know. But some women might play this, and I'm not saying they... I don't want to say Bayonetta is an inspiration, because then that will make it sound as if people should be.
I don't think.
Because then that's me basically saying that women should be dressing up like her to be powerful.
Oh, good God, no!
That's not what I'm saying.
Don't do that, people.
That's not what I'm saying, because no, that's not how. Power for women does not mean using your sexuality. Being sexy does not equal powerful. Admittedly, one of the reasons why Bayonetta attracts to me as a character is because she kicks tremendous ass.
Mm-hmm.
Not because she is sexy, I will give her that. But, again, this is a personal thing, but to me, my attractiveness to a woman depends on how much they could kick the shit out of me.
So basically, Michael, you're a masochist.
No, I like women who can kick ass, okay?
No, it's a fair point. She is. Here's the thing. Basically, the Bayonetta games play like Devil May Cry. Here's the difference, though. Bayonetta's actually better than Devil May Cry.
Ooh.
And especially better than the new version of Devil May Cry.
Well, that's a given.
Yeah, that's not saying much. But I do understand. It's like, I do see where she's coming from. She is very overly sexualized in a big way, and that is an issue. But she also tries to bring up things like, oh, the influence of Bayonetta caused men to attack women at subways. I was like, where's the evidence of that?
Yeah.
Because it was hearsay first, and then also the fact is, this goes with a point I've always been against. Video games do not cause violence. It's people who have mentality. That video games didn't cause that.
We've had this argument before on the previous episodes. But going back to the subway thing, I am aware that is a thing that happens in Japan. I'm aware that that in Japan there is a serious problem about like men groping women on subways. But last I checked, it wasn't Bayonetta that was responsible for that.
No.
It's like... And did she present any evidence to the contrary? Or was it literally just Bayonetta makes men violent towards women because Bayonetta's got boobs and she shows them off?
Actually, I'll check that now, see if she put a graph. But from what I can remember, no, she did not.
Because that's one of the big problems when you're going into this sort of thing. Especially when you make an accusation like that,
you need evidence to back it up.
You really need the evidence to back it up. It's not something you can just say.
It is a problem, and it's...
It's such a tricky argument, though, because we do... Both of us have admitted Bayonetta is sexualized. She's a very sexualized character. But on the one hand, I don't see that as being like... I don't know. Maybe I'm horribly ignorant, or maybe I'm secretly anti-feminist. I don't know. But it doesn't... And it's probably because also I'm a man. I'm not a woman, so I wouldn't know. But...
From what I can see, she basically brings up the cases of people groping women, but it doesn't mention anything about actually Bayonetta being the influence of that.
Yeah, you can bring up the cases, but there's no correlation between them and the game itself.
It's most probably these people are just sexist pigs.
Yeah, and they exist.
Last time I checked, a lot of people are like that around the world. They're assholes.
People were sexist before Bayonetta. People were sexist before video games.
Long before. It's like
people were sexist in the fucking Tudor era.
This is the thing. There was a picture I absolutely loved when they say, okay, so video games cause violence. Then what video games were people playing during the Crusades?
Yeah, that's the obvious argument to go to, you know. These people...
It's a weak argument.
Grand Theft Auto, that's why Hitler got into power.
Oh, God. Oh, God, no. It is something I disagree with, and I think... Again, I keep saying this, I know, but this is a true point. She represents something good as a whole. It's just her methods I don't agree with. And she goes, again, for the easy target. She goes for Bayonetta, stuff like that, which are very obvious. But she never brings up good points like, I can name several female protagonists off the top of my head who are good female protagonists. Clementine from The Walking Dead. Ellie from The Last of Us. And I don't like The Last of Us. This is not me saying, Clementine, I like the Walking Dead video game, but I don't like The Last of Us. And I can even say straight off the bat, Ellie is a good female character. Hell, I could even go a little bit further and say people like characters who are over-sexualized. Tifa from Final Fantasy VII.
To be fair, Tifa became over-sexualized because of the fans, not because of the game itself,
yes.
As far as I'm aware.
Yeah, that is true. Pervy fans, god damn you people.
I remember seeing like a nice little argument. Somebody made the argument that Princess Peach is in some respects a good female character. And yeah, obviously there's the argument, all she does is get kidnapped. These people have never played a Paper Mario game. Yeah, she gets kidnapped in them, but she is such a snarky cow. It's hilarious.
I think it's also the fact that Nintendo, it's almost become
Princess Peach getting kidnapped is the running gag of the Mushroom Kingdom. Nobody is bothered by it anymore.
Nintendo's basically taking the piss out of it at this point.
It is, yeah. It's almost like it's just become every other Saturday.
Yeah.
Bowser breaks into the castle, kidnap Peach. Mario's like, oh, not this shit again. Okay. Luigi, watch the house. I'm going to be gone for a few weeks. I do think, though, the video game she was in was a little bit not so grand. Like, what's her weapon? Crying. Super Princess Peach. I like that game.
I wasn't a fan of crying. I was like the nostalgia critic on that one. I was like, what?
Yeah, well, it wasn't that. That was like in Super Princess Peach, she had like 4 different vibes, which were like essentially emotions that were essentially her power-ups. And sadness would make her cry, which she would use to run really fast and like use to like water plants to create platforms and stuff. She had joy, which let her to float about in the air for a bit. She had rage, she had anger, which allowed her to sort of jump on heavy switches. And then there was calmness, which allowed her to slowly refill health. And yeah, Super Princess Peach was a very girly game. Like, her main weapon was an umbrella in that.
Then again, that was the main weapon in Super Smash Bros. And she kicks ass in Super Smash Bros.
And also in Super Princess Peach, she travels across the Mushroom Kingdom, battling enemies, eventually culminating in a battle with a giant Bowser, also while wearing a pink dress. Not like some sort of sexy tank top and shorts. No, she did it in a dress. That's why Peach is an awesome female character. She'll kick your ass in style.
Point. It's a good point. I think Super Smash Bros. Was the best Peach. She's really fucking strong in that game. It's annoying. It's like, god damn it, she's kicking my ass.
It took me years to realise that one of her attacks involves her taking off her crown and smacking the enemy with it.
That's the best thing. She'll beat you to death with my tiara.
It's also weird because on the subject of like Smash Brothers, the most recent Smash Brothers, the one that's coming out later next month for 3DS and hopefully around Christmas time for the Wii U. It's gotten weirdly sexy. Like, I'm not joking. Like, if you like just look at like the female characters in that, like Peach is like oddly flirty in that. The Palutena in her like announcement trailer, there was a shot from the side of her butt and like one of the chest.
Oh no.
Zero Suit Samus, one of her alternate costumes, is essentially like a tank top and some shorts.
Oh, I saw that. Oh my god.
Which makes me laugh.
And then Shulk comes along.
Yeah, and one of his alternate outfits is him in nothing but swimming trunks.
Oh.
Which you could have him wear in Xenoblade Chronicles, the game he's from, by the way. You cannot take cutscenes seriously.
Yeah, you told me about that, and I was like, oh yeah, I'll try and find a cheap version on the Wii. Fuck me, are they expensive?
Xenoblade Chronicles, as much as I'd recommend that game to anyone who hasn't played it, but be prepared to pay a lot of money to do so. Unless you're willing to wait for the new 3DS to come out, with Xenoblade Chronicles for the new 3DS coming out.
Yeah, because it's only available on that 3DS.
And when I say new 3DS, I'm not saying it's a new... it is a new 3DS, but its name is the new 3DS.
It has new hardware in it, which means it can play things a lot better. The problem is that means that you have to buy a whole new 3DS if you want to play certain games.
Yeah, sod that. I'm not going to bother. I mean, don't
not yet, anyway, for me.
Don't get me wrong, I love Nintendo, but I got a 3DS XL like a couple of years ago, and it's too soon for me to like get a new 3DS.
Yeah, it'd be a while, I suppose.
Somebody needs to I think Nintendo like needs somebody new at their naming department, because the problem with the new 3DS is that what happens in 10 years? I'd like a new 3DS, please. What, you mean the new one that just come out? No, I mean the old new 3DS. Oh, the old one, yeah. It's the same problem the Xbox One has, Some poor parent's going to go in, my child wants the Xbox One for Christmas. When you say Xbox One, do you mean the Xbox One or the Xbox One? The Xbox One, and gives them the old Xbox. Mum, what the fuck is this? It's the Xbox One, not this Xbox One.
The other Xbox One, the newer Xbox One.
It'd be like, what's next? It's like, when after the PlayStation 4, are they going to go back to PlayStation 2?
That would be nice, actually.
Well,
I miss those days.
Well, I mean, as in, like, they'll just name the next PlayStation 2, because that would just be horribly confusing.
I think PlayStation have probably been the most reasonable with that. I think
They are. Sony's got a new console coming out. It'll probably be called the PlayStation 4. Was called the PlayStation 4. No one was surprised, but nobody cared. It's an obvious name. It's what we expected. You know, PlayStation didn't go, and now we have the follow-up to the PlayStation 3. The PlayStation Double X Supercharged Hyper Turbo 7.
This is a weirdly complicated name.
Version 1.
Version 2.0. Oh, that's... Yeah, I just call the Xbox One the X-Bone. It's easier.
Everyone calls it the X-Bone.
I know everyone calls it, but it's just it's the easier name. It's a better option. Yeah. It's just a terrible fucking thing. I think also another thing that's been niggling at me is also I've watched the newest Doctor Who.
Okay, there's a complete turnaround.
Yeah.
Okay, we finished our controversies in the world of video games.
But
On to Doctor Who. Didn't that first episode suck?
Didn't the last 2 episodes suck, you mean?
Wait, I liked the second one.
I didn't. I hated it.
The one where they go inside the Dalek.
That was... It was a bad episode, but had good things about it.
I liked it.
You gotta admit, though, the bits with the school teachers was not very well written.
Well, I'm not saying that bit was great, but I didn't feel like it intruded. And, like, hopefully they'll do something with that new Danny Pink character.
Oh, yeah, I hope so, because he seems interesting. It's just not very well written.
Admittedly, the fact that one of his students said to him, "Have you ever shot a person?" Dude, he's a former soldier. You don't ask them those questions, you little shit.
You little prick.
I know, I was like, who fucking asks their teacher who's a former soldier, did they kill someone? Fuck
and he
off.
looked at him like, what did I do wrong?
I know, it was ridiculous. But aside from that, I really liked that episode. The one beforehand I did not like one bit.
I liked bits of the first one, but I agree the first one was a bit underwhelming. The second one, the idea of going into the Dalek was awesome, but I think the thing that just annoyed me is I kept thinking of one of the old Doctor Who episodes, when he kept saying, Daleks are evil, all Daleks are evil. I was like, no, you created 3 Daleks that were good.
No.
In Patrick Troughton's era, he put... I can't remember if he put like Time Lord Essence or Human Essence in 3 Daleks, and they only appeared in that one episode, but they basically caused like the Dalek Civil War and all this lot, and basically they're a massive part of the Doctor Who canon, and it's just basically this completely went over that. I was like, no, stop missing that bit.
I suppose you could make the argument that since the Daleks continued to be the genocidal bastards that they are, that good Daleks had no effect on it.
Oh, but they did. That's the thing. Like they did the Dalek Civil War, which just felt through several episodes, including.
Well, maybe that's sort of the explanation, because yeah, these Daleks turned good, but ultimately they still resorted to violence and killing.
Yeah.
It's the same with like the thing I really liked with this episode is the fact that, you know, the Doctor sort of reminds the Dalek of the time it saw a star being born, and and then like he sort of the Dalek sort of blends its mind with the Doctor's, and all it sees is destruction. Yeah. And I loved that, and I loved Capaldi in that episode. He was so good. He's such a good Doctor.
Don't get me wrong, I like Peter Capaldi. I've been waiting for this for a long time. And then they showed what's happening in the next episode.
Wait, you mean like
the Robin Hood episode?
That looks like it will be like typical Goofy fare. Hopefully not as goofy as the first one.
Oh god, the costume. I just took one look. I was like, what? This looks worse than the BBC Robin Hood, and that was bad. Started off good, and then season 3 came, and it was a total fucking shitefest. But yeah, we've gone way off topic. We're back. All my fault. I'm sorry, but
I suppose we can't really talk anymore about the controversies. Really, we've sort of covered them.
Yeah, it's just basically the Anita Sarkeesian thing is one. Well, actually, no, I can't. We can keep going on because there's also something else that came up with Anita Sarkeesian.
Oh, what's that?
She has been facing death threats.
Oh Christ!
Yeah, like
fucking internet.
Yeah, basically. People who are like saying, "Oh, she's so full of shit. She doesn't know what it's like," and all this sort, and they basically saying, hurling abuse at her and calling death threats, and apparently I think she's actually fled her home because of it.
Christ.
Now, as people may be aware, I've basically been saying this entire time, I don't agree with Anita Sarkeesian, I don't agree with her methods. All the while, though, I don't fucking condone this. Disagree with her, by all means. The thing is, this has now led to people being scared of criticising her, because then people say, oh, you're just attacking her. It's like, no, I just disagree with her.
Well, that's now... It's just... The people who resort to fucking death threats, either they're incredibly unhinged, or they're just pathetic children who like...
Or both.
The funny thing is, though, is I remember seeing one time, somebody was, like, getting abuse over, like, Tumblr. Like, person kept sending them comments saying, oh, you should just go fucking kill yourself. And then, as a sort of retort, the person receiving these comments just typed back, fine, and then just didn't go on Tumblr for, like, 4 months. Like, they just...
Oh.
They did not... They had, like, no internet presence for such a long... At least not on Tumblr. And the guy kept... Whoever it was on the other end sort of kept... Like, for a while, they were like, oh, suppose you killed yourself now, huh? Bet you killed yourself. Have you? Have you really? Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. And, like, they started sending comments going, look, I'm sorry. And then eventually they commented back saying, good. Because that's
now
really
you know how it feels like.
Because a lot of these people are probably like, oh, you should go fucking kill yourself. If these people went and killed themselves, they'd be like, fuck, I didn't think they'd do it.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know why, but that just reminded me of a comedian. One of the guys from Russell Howard.
I know this exact joke you're talking about, but go on.
When he talks about that there's this guy who's like holding onto a ledge saying he's going to jump, and they're all standing out, don't do it, and this kid goes, do it, you gay! And they have a go at him, and they go, what are you doing? He's going to jump off. He goes, I thought it was a bungee jump!
Yeah. People say go kill yourself because they're not thinking, just because like they just get so angry and they think like, what's the worst thing I can say? Oh, killing yourself, yeah, that's terrible. That they never actually consider the fact that maybe they will. You know, you don't know them. They might suffer depression, they might have suicidal thoughts or tendencies, they might have attempted it before. Just think, people.
The Zoe Quinn thing.
Oh. And the fact that it got so bad that she's had to flee from her home. People got hold of her address.
Seems like it. Or even if it's not, you don't feel safe. Like, you do not feel safe. Like, a few years ago, my flat got burgled. And we didn't feel safe there. Because you have this thing of someone's been at your home or is threatening your home and your family. You just don't feel safe anymore in that place. And it's a horrible incarnation. I do feel sorry for her, and I think she definitely doesn't deserve this. I will disagree with her on every other count. On her videos, there are a lot of things I disagree with. That does not, in any way, mean she should face this.
Especially because, like, yeah, neither of us might support like what she does. I mean, we support the feminist thing, but we don't agree with her ideas, but she's just somebody who makes videos on YouTube about video games and how women are treated. She's not somebody who deserves death threats.
Exactly.
What big crime has she done?
Oh no, she's talking about my video games. That's it.
Has she gone around and like kicked all these people's children off of bridges? Does she regularly burn kittens in effigies of games developers?
The horrifying thing is, I just saw this today. Nostalgia Chick. She hasn't been doing videos lately, and it turns out why is because she's been getting death threats and all this lot. I don't know if she's making a comment on Anita Sarkeesian, or if it's just something she's revealing why she hasn't made videos in a while, but it's like, this is really horrifying stuff. And these are people who don't deserve it. Anita Sarkeesian just makes videos on the internet about feminist things and talking about video games have problems, which they do. We've talked about this. They have a diversity problem at the moment. Like, look at the last few male protagonists. They've all been white, male, young, and a certain build. It's the same thing. Over and over again. It's copy and paste. And Nostalgia Chick just talks about movies. Why do these people deserve this? They don't.
The other bad thing is the fact that it's not only like essentially getting all these horrible comments. It's not essentially telling people like Anita Sarkeesian or Nostalgia Kick or Lindsay Ellis, as she's actually known. It's telling these people nobody cares what you think, and the world is better off without you. So fuck off. That is what they're being told. Yeah. And so not only does it have that effect on them, but then the people who do support these women then think that anybody who disagrees with them is one of these man children. Mm-hmm. And let's face it, they're probably men.
Oh, they are.
They are, I guarantee, and they might not all be men, but I'm pretty sure the majority of them probably are.
I would say 99.9% of them are.
It is essentially telling them that anyone who disagrees with Lindsay Ellis or Anita Sarkeesian is a man-child who's just going to resort to death threats and does not deserve your attention. And so they get... So some poor soul's going to be like... Just type some well-thought-out opinions on their disagreement with Anita Sarkeesian. They could, like, it could be written in fucking cursive for what it is. It's like... And then one of Anita Sarkeesian's supporters will see it and assume it's an attack and will attack them. And then the person being attacked will attack back. And it's a vicious circle. That's what it is.
It's what it is the vocal minority causing problems for the majority of people. It's always the vocal minority.
I hate the vocal minority because they're all that anyone ever pays attention to. Mm-hmm. And it's the same thing because it's like the reason they get paid attention to is because they're nuts.
Yeah.
And people are drawn to that. We want to see the nutters, apparently. Are you a rational human being with a proper debate and argument? Yeah? Don't care about you. You've got nothing to say. What have you got to say? I hate everything. Yeah, we'll hear what you have to say. What have you got?
Let's listen to the nutters. That always turns out well. Oh, wait!
Look at any news story on video games. What do you have to say on... You play a lot of video games. What do you have to say? I fucking cut you! Yeah, see? Right there. See? That proves it.
Yeah, and it's also like going a little bit back on Anita Sarkeesian, some of the things she does. She also, going back that she does the easy targets. It's like doing that to people to video games who don't know about video games is like going to a person who doesn't know anything about movies. Suspend your disbelief for a moment. Someone who doesn't know anything about movies, and I show them Texas Chainsaw Massacre and The Human Centipede, and say, this is movies.
Yeah. It's a horrible representation because it's two movies out of billions.
Out of many different genres and many different styles.
And it's the same with video games as well. It's like, women are treated poorly in video games. Prove it. Here's Bayonetta. Is that all you've got? Yes. And that's all I need according to you. Yes. Is there no other video game? Nope. Can I not play anything? Nope. What about that Walking Dead? No, ignore that. It's got nothing to do with this. But it's a video game, but it's got nothing to do with this. But your arguments about video games, it's got nothing to do with this.
What about The Last of Us?
Yeah, okay, fuck you. I'm not going to bother anymore. Let's just...
I will just say, though, she has done other videos other than that. I think Bayonetta was like one of her first ones. But it is a point. It's like, if you just show one side of the argument, then obviously people are going to be like, oh, this is what represents games. It's like, nope. But again, that does not condone attacking in this way. I don't understand why these people think, yeah, I'll hurl death threats, that'll work. No, it makes you look worse.
Yeah, because what do they think's going to happen? Here is my opinions on Bayonetta. I think it is degrading towards women. You should go hang yourself. Oh my god, I've just realised I'm wrong. Oh my god, you've opened my eyes. Bayonetta isn't degrading to women. Thank you, kind sir on the internet. Thank you, voiceless masses, for giving me these death threats. I have now realised the wrong of my actions. Thank you.
That is probably what they're thinking in their incredibly warped minds. But...
They've probably typed, "Go cut yourself and die in a fire, you bitch." There. Hopefully she takes my rational comments on board, and hopefully will come to a rational decision.
I'm completely rational. What?
Maybe they are. Maybe they are completely rational as soon as they get off the laptop and then like act really surprised when people respond negatively to their death threats.
I only said she needs to die. What's the harm in that?
Christ, you threaten one person. I threaten to cut her legs off, find where she lives and murder everything she holds dear, and suddenly I'm in the wrong.
I'm the bad guy. I'd like to turn around and just say, please, those people, the vocal minority, please go away. Leave the internet. Your internet privileges have been revoked. Go away.
Oh, if only that was possible.
Oh, believe me, I would get rid of a lot of people. I would not get rid of Anita Sarkeesian, funny enough. Because while I disagree with a lot of her views, I also think that she should have a platform to show them.
Well, she's not technically doing anything wrong.
No, she's not. She's just bringing up points, again, some of which are valid.
What she has done has not, it hasn't caused Bayonetta 2 to be cancelled.
No.
It hasn't caused Platinum Games to shut down. And
she's done no damage. Therefore, there's no real big problem.
Your opinion has been met with a different opinion. That's all that's mattered.
And at the end of the day, we need different opinions.
Are you trying to restore balance, vocal minority? Do you think that if people...
We must return balance to the Force.
If people, offer a different opinion towards your opinion, it's, going to cause a black hole to manifest in the centre of the Earth, and it will eventually become big enough to just destroy us all? Is that what's going through your heads?
Probably. And it's a fucking horrifying motion, just utterly stupid.
I feel like shit now in having this conversation. Is that because it's just reminding me of how pathetic humanity can get.
Oh yeah. All I can say is I hope that Anita Sarkeesian is able to come back, is able to do her feminist frequencies. I will still disagree with her on a lot of points, but I still think she should be able to do her points, and I look forward to seeing more of it. As much as I disagree with it.
Concerning Anita Sarkeesian, I'm not affected if she leaves YouTube. I'm not affected. I've never watched her stuff. I barely knew her until just now. I just hope that she can just carry on with her life in safety.
Yes.
That's all I'm concerned with right now.
Same with Lindsay Ellis.
Yeah, both of them. They could both come... I didn't watch a lot of Lindsay Ellis' stuff, but hopefully they can come back. And if they don't, I just hope that they just carry on with their lives and not let these assholes on the internet affect... Because that's the real tragedy of it. The people who give the death threats and these stupid-ass arguments, they're not worth listening to. And I would say, just ignore... It's a classic of just ignore them. They're not worth your time. But some people can't. It gets to them. It really does. And it can affect some people mentally. That's the tragedy of it. Not everybody can just put up a blockade.
Especially when it's something like threatening to come to your home and attack you and your family. That's a very horrifying thought.
And it's a doubly a shame because there are also some genuinely pleasant people on the internet. We're not all arseholes and misogynists.
No. Hell, us too. We've been talking a long time, our hatred of Ubisoft in terms of Assassin's Creed Unity and Far Cry 4 and all this crap, where they say, oh, it's hard to make female characters. Which is utter bullshit.
Watch episode 1.
That was episode 1 at E3.
Yeah. Little plug there for us.
Yeah. Go watch episode 1. That was happier times.
Slightly happier, but happier nonetheless.
I think I'm going to add a little bit of something. I think we've talked about all we can about Anita Sarkeesian and all the controversies. Mm-hmm. And I think we need to talk about something that may be a little bit more uplifting, which is games that we look forward to within the next few months.
Yeah, all right.
Because I think that'll cheer us up a little bit more.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll cheer all of you. Well, anyone who's listening to this, you've probably sort of been like, "Oh God, this is depressing."
There's going to be more games, folks, and it's going to be happy times.
Yay!
We get to play our games.
Yay!
So yeah, Michael, you start off. What games are you looking forward to for, say to the start of next year?
Recently I've pre-ordered the 3DS Smash Brothers and Hyrule Warriors for Wii U, so I'm looking forward to getting those. I've actually got a bit of a backlog on games to play at the moment because it was my birthday over the summer and I got a PS Vita. So I've got a few games to sort of play on that. I'm sort of actually going to do a thing where once 2018 rolls around, I'm sort of going to make a New Year's resolution to not buy any video games for the year because I've got too much to play at the moment and I've got other stuff to worry about like finding work. So
how long do you think you're going to stick to that resolution?
As long as there's no surprise announcements in that year, I should be fine. Because last I checked, the only titles that I definitely want to have by the end of 2015 are Yoshi's Woolly World, Persona 5, and Xenoblade Chronicles X. Speaking of, have you seen the Persona 5 teaser trailer that he released a couple of days ago?
I haven't. I need to watch this. I've heard good things.
Well, it's a teaser trailer, so you don't expect too much. It's like its whole purpose is to sort of show us who the protagonist for that game is going to be, and the internet has already latched onto it and started comparing him to Harry Potter. You laugh, but as soon as you see him, you will be like, "Holy shit, that is Harry Potter."
I won't be complaining about that. I'll be happy with that. We'll actually get a
Expecto
Harry Potter
Persona!
game that's good. I haven't had that in a while. I remember back in I know this is going a little bit off topic, but I can remember back in the day when Pottermore was like being, just before Pottermore was announced, they kept saying, "Oh yeah, it might be this or that," and I was like, I would really love it if it was an actual like Harry Potter game, like a proper video game.
What, like a sort of MMO kind of a thing?
Yeah, also not an MMO or something along those lines, like something really good. And then it turned out it was Pottermore, and I was like, ugh.
So maybe something a bit like Mass Effect, where you create your own character and you're placed into the Harry Potter universe, and like you sort of work your way up through school.
Yeah,
that'd be pretty.
And then
that would be pretty cool, actually.
Auras or Death Eaters or whatever, and I'd be like, that'd be awesome. But we ain't got it, and we probably won't for a while, I imagine.
What about you? Any video games you're particularly looking forward to in the coming months?
I would say I'm looking forward to Pokemon Omega Ruby.
Oh yeah,
I
that too.
Be getting that. That looks really good. I'm looking forward to Arkham Knight.
Is that coming out this year?
Yep, that's coming out in November, I imagine.
I thought it got pushed back to 2015.
No, I know that Witcher 3 got pushed back to 2015. Which,
okay.
That I'm looking forward to. Let me have a quick look. I think Arkham Knight is still coming out this year. Arkham Knight.
I can say I am definitely looking forward to Arkham Knight.
Oh no, you are correct. It has been pushed back to 2015, in which case, I'll wait till 2015 for that one.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to Arkham Knight, but it's on the PS4 and Xbox One. I own neither, so I won't be playing it for a very long time.
I think it's coming out on PS3 as well.
No, it was confirmed for Xbox One and PS4 only. Persona 5 has been confirmed for both PS3 and PS4.
That's good.
It was
I'm
originally
really behind on some of this. Yeah.
It was originally going to be PS3 only, but then they gave it PS4 release, which is all fine and dandy.
What was am I looking for? Looking forward to that. I'm also looking forward to Hyrule Warriors. I think that's going to be really good.
Hyrule Warriors just looks so kick-ass.
Dynasty Warriors, but with the Legend of Zelda crew. I can dig that.
I'm not even a Dynasty Warriors fan. It just looks cool.
It does. It's insane. And also Super Smash Bros., which
obviously
I'm probably not going to buy both for the moment. I'm probably just going to wait till the Wii U one comes out, which hopefully will be this year.
Hopefully. It says holiday 2014. May get pushed back to early 2015, I don't know.
I don't complain when it does get pushed. If it does get pushed back, that'll be a shame, but I can wait.
Yeah, because Masahiro Sakurai, the director, he's such a perfectionist. If he pushes... Even when he releases a game, he's probably still like, oh, I should have put that in.
It's good. I like that when there's people like that who want it perfect and actually want to release a good game.
Even like Smash Bros. Brawl... It looked finished, but there was quite a bit of stuff that got cut out. Like, apparently some characters would have taken... Like, when they took damage, there would actually be a physical difference. Like, Meta Knight's mask would slowly, get cracks in it or something.
That would have been epic.
And then there was, a bunch of characters that got cut out. Like, Dixie Kong was meant to be in Brawl, but got cut out. Mewtwo was apparently meant to be in Brawl, but got cut out.
Damn it. Oh... Why, Mewtwo, can't you come back?
Well, there is that Pokken Tournament game that's being released in Japan soon.
Yeah, I heard about that. That looks really interesting. A proper fighting game with Pokemon.
Yeah, with well, it's a personal shame for me, but it's the fact that it looks like it will play like Tekken, and I am terrible at fighting games in general. So, because I want to play this, it looks really cool. Even though we've seen maybe 30 seconds of footage.
I was about to say we've barely seen anything, but what we have seen looks pretty good. And
of course, there's a lot of potential when it comes to playable characters in that. So far, Lucario, Machamp, and probably Blaziken have been confirmed. I say probably Blaziken because there was a teaser image that got leaked a couple of years ago, which had Blaziken in it. I reckon Blaziken will probably be in it, and I reckon Mewtwo would be a good candidate for playable character in Pokken Tournament.
Oh, definitely.
If he's not going to be in the next Smash, which doesn't look like he will be, unless it becomes DLC, there is a rumor that there may be DLC characters, which I'd be fine for, in all honesty. As long as it's not on this DLC.
From what the DLC I've seen in Mario Kart 8,
that DLC looks so good.
They're doing it very well. Like they're doing it decently.
Would you say they're doing it DLC-ly? But yeah, Mario Kart 8 has some really good DLC. Like I've yet to download it, but I will do at some point. Nintendo had like a sort of tie-in with Mercedes-Benz of all things.
I saw that.
To have like 3 different kinds of Mercedes in Mario Kart. A lot of people really hate this because it's essentially product placement, and the Mercedes cars look really out of place, which they do. But it's for that reason why I love the idea. It looks so stupid.
It's Nintendo. What are you expecting?
But
I think Ubisoft, of all people, tried to say, "Oh, that's not a good idea, Nintendo." I was like, "Really, Ubisoft?
Ubisoft, fuck off.
Go ruin Assassin's Creed."
Do you have Mercedes? No, you fucking don't. And
they probably try and put it in a new Assassin's Creed.
And the thing is, though, the people who say who didn't like the Mercedes DLC, they've at least got the actual DLC to look forward to in the next. There's a pack coming out in a few months' time, and then there's another one coming out in early 2015, which will be like bringing back some old courses, bringing in some new ones, some new karts, and some new playable characters. Like Tanuki, Mario, and Cat Peach are going to be playable for some reason. I don't know why. It's like as if Metal Mario and Pink Gold Peach weren't bad enough. But they are like Dry Bowser will be playable in Mario Kart again, thanks to this DLC, and they are including the villager from Animal Crossing, Isabelle, a character from Animal Crossing, and Link. Link will be in Mario Kart. You can make Link ride a bike.
I love it. That's like the highlight. You can make him ride a bike.
You can. It looks so silly.
If only he could get his sword out. Use it. That'd be awesome.
I'm just like imagining Link in Mario Kart going, how did I get here? What the hell is this? He's like on the bike. The race goes 3, 2, 1. Everyone goes except for Link. And he's like hitting the bike. Come on!
No, go, come on. And go, here.
Yeah, like that. That's what Link would be saying if he could actually speak English. For God's sake, come on! Epona never had this kind of trouble. Come on!
Oh no! He doesn't do that. He starts okay, but it's because he uses the ocarina.
Fine, he just cheats. Keeps rewinding time until he finally gets it right.
Plays the Song of Storms. Everything goes to shit. Yeah, that's some good news there. And also, there's this is probably the most nerdiest, but yes, I enjoy WoW, and the new expansion's coming out, so I'll be giving that a look.
I'm afraid I can't comment on that. I don't play World of Warcraft, so any news and expansions just went completely past me.
We shall see. There will probably be a day where I'll talk a lot about that when we get to BlizzCon, which is in 3 months, so get yourself ready for that, Michael.
Early preview.
We'll be talking about what happens at that con, which would be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Right, on that note, I think we ended a little bit more happier than the last one.
Yeah, seems like a good note to sort of end things off, so sign us out then.
Yep. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was the Entertainment Dome. We shall hopefully see you soon, and this is James Hall saying goodbye.
This is Michael Beckwith saying goodbye.
Goodbye.
Farewell.